so we can get to more questions.
Hi, Ken Williams here. I'm from Maine, where we've had one-to-one computing for 7 years now. And actually, I'm on Edutopia as of, it was 2003, from my little school in Nobleboro, Maine, with some students. Two things. One, I think maybe we should rename the Innovation Fund the Status Quo Fund, and maybe we would move a little bit more quickly into making the innovation the status quo. And the second thing, I was chatting this morning with a table mate about actually getting kids outside more. So how can, and you know, fine arts and physical education have actually become more in the forefront because of the health of our nation. So I guess the question might be, from the business community, from the technology community, how can we make sure we actually have some well-rounded children?
You know, again, I think you're making a very important point, and it's one of my favorite topics. You know, there's so much, when we talk about changing our thinking about what's possible in education, there's a lot of either-or thinking. Certainly when it comes to technology. Technology is either good or bad. I used to work at Sesame Workshop, and Joan Cooney, the founder, had a wonderful phrase in trying to argue that television could be educational, and just because television is used for a lot of entertainment viewing and used too often for entertainment and not enough for education, she said that just because kids read comic books outside of school, no one has ever argued that we should do away with books in school. So we need to use that same thinking when it comes to technology. We need to use the same thinking when it comes to the role of outdoor education, getting kids into nature. We've got a number of stories on our site, including one from your program in Maine, where the kids are working with the Maine Lakes Conservancy, as you know, with their laptops out in the lakes, attaching that little digital microscope to their laptops and looking at water samples, looking at the little microorganisms in the water samples in real time on their laptops. So nature and technology can go hand in hand. It's not technology interferes with nature. Yes, in the sense that, again, maybe kids spend too much time with media, but there are ways in which technology can really support learning from nature. I've been involved, for instance, with the national parks, and here you have 391 of our nation's most significant environmental locations, places of history, the most important events, Civil War battlefields, Thomas Edison's birthplace. So these are places that more Americans should know about, and especially American students to really understand our democracy should know about. And in that conversation around the role of the national parks in education, we've had a number of really good conversations as part of a National Parks Commission about how the national parks now can be stronger partners in the world of education, especially environmental education and the role of history, and how those two things go together. I'll just point you to the fact that Ken Burns' new series on PBS will be about the history of the national parks, starting the last week of September. You'll see a lot of promotion for it in August and September, and you may have already seen some, thanks to your public broadcasters in North Carolina. And that will be a real opportunity for educators to make this argument about how nature and technology can be partners rather than enemies.
Thanks, Milton.